Hello. You guys are on my bed and you're very... I wanted to take a picture and show you what you look like. I'll put it here. That's exactly what's happening. Hello. I'm gonna try and fan out my blanket without ruining the setup. Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Maya, and today I'm doing a reading wrap up for February and March. Now, the reason why I'm doing these two together is because I've read 15 books between those 2 months, but only 6 of them were physical copies, and I only read 2 physical copies in February, so I didn't want the video to be me just going and that's it, you know? So I just saved it and I was like, I'll just do these 2 videos together. I'm gonna jump in. I have my, can you see? Oh no, it might be too bright. Oh, it's still too bright. I have my Drake. Okay. The way I do these reading wrap-ups, I typically start with my stats, then go into the books that I read, and then I'll kind of give you an update on books that I'm currently reading and will probably most likely be reading going into the next month, which would be April. I hope that explanation made sense. It probably did, but we're just gonna start at this point because who cares, you know? So I'm gonna try not to move too much because you guys are so unsteady, and also the glare on my glasses, but I just want to see. That's all I want. Okay, starting in February, I'm gonna give you guys my stats right here. I read 7 books in a total of 2,824 pages. I'll give you guys my top 5 moods. It was funny, emotional, tense, lighthearted, and dark. And then in terms of pace, I have 2 books that I read that were considered fast-paced, 1 book that I read that was considered slow, and 4 books that I read that were considered medium pace. For page number, I read 1 book over 500 pages, 2 books less than 300 pages, and then 4 books in between 300 and 499 pages. I read 100% fiction, you already know. My top genres were contemporary, romance, thriller, then it was sports, short stories, and literary. My format this month was 71% digital, which would have been 5 books, and 28% print, which would have been the other 2 books. My overall average rating this month was a 4.21, my lowest rating being a 3.75, and my highest rating being a 5. So I do have a 5-star read from last month. And yeah, I just have like a chart that shows how many pages I read today. I love going through my stats. I personally find them to be so interesting, so that's just what I'm sharing. Okay, we're gonna start off with the books I read because some of them were digital, so we're gonna go in order. The first book I finished in the month of February, on February 3rd, I finished The Housemaid by Frida McFadden. I gave this book 3.75 stars. It was about, I'm trying not to spoil it. It's really hard for me to describe thrillers without like straight up spoiling it. So was that the plot twist? Okay, it's about this young girl who gets a job as a housemaid, and she's working for this one family. The wife is nuts and the daughter is like question mark, but the husband seems really nice, and slowly things start to happen around the house and the housemaid gets a little spook magoot. And this book wasn't super memorable. I honestly would give it a 3 stars. I gave it 3.75 because I was being nice, but I was trying to give it to the hype, and that's all I'll say. I'm really bad at giving descriptions for thrillers because I don't want to spoil anything, but it wasn't that good in terms of a thriller. I do have a lot of sirens, and I'm not sorry. I'm just kidding, I am, but I can't do anything about it. So I would just suggest reading the back for this one, but I do have to say the plot twist was so disappointing to me because once it happened, it felt like the book kind of fell flat. So I don't know, it was really hard to get through. I gave it 3.75. I'm gonna say 3 stars. Okay, the next book I read immediately was The Final Offer. I finished it on February 7th. I don't remember the release date. I think it was the 1st, but I just didn't get around to reading it right away. I missed this series so much already. This is the last book in the Dreamland Billionaire series. You have the fine print, terms and conditions, and then the final offer. This is written by Lauren Asher. Sorry, I didn't say that. I gave this book 5 stars. I sure did. This was my favorite book out of the whole series. Honestly, I just love their relationship. This was a second chance, I believe. Second chance romance, if that's your thing. There's just a lot more at stake to me. There's a kid in this. I know some people don't like when kids are in books, but I don't mind it, so I wasn't annoyed with it. I just have 2 braids hanging out. I hope that's chill. I really love this book. Oh, I wrote a review. No, I didn't. Okay, never mind. Moving on, next I read was The Wall of Winniepeg and Me. I gave this 4.75 stars. This book was so close to being a 5-star for me, but I can't remember why I gave it 4.75, and I didn't write a review, so I don't know what was going on there, but I do remember really liking it. This is where I found my new love for slow burn romances. I will no longer be reading just regular rom-coms, and I've also found my new love for fantasy romance, even though I'm not even at the romance section. It's just mostly a side plot and they're kind of just building their friendship. Those are the best kind of books books where there's an actual plot and then you see the two characters slowly fall in love throughout the book or through the series. That to me is the best. So The Wall, Winniepeg, and Me I read in one sitting, which is nuts. It was maybe 400 to 600 pages. It says 400 pages here, but I read the digital version. Regardless, reading that in one sitting is kind of insane, but I just was addicted to Mariana Zapata's writing, and I remember starting it a few times a few months ago, and I just couldn't get myself to like, I just was in this mindset that I wouldn't like a slow burn romance, but boy was I wrong. That is my new favorite thing in life. Next, I finished Creature by Amina Cain. I gave this 3.75 stars. It wasn't really anything super special. It was a nice short read that I had going for my subway. It's kind of like a collection of short stories. I think it follows the same person. It's really hard to tell because it's not like another book that I'm gonna explain that is a collection of short stories where you are very clear that you're following different characters. This book was just kind of like random short stories. I don't know. I love Amina Cain's writing, so I did enjoy the short stories, but it wasn't anything that stuck out to me. I really only remember one, and it was about the sisters and their night routine and how they came home after work every day and did the same thing every night, and then I think one of them like proposed that they switch up part of their night routine. I don't know. I barely remember. Honestly, I'm just kind of like, if I read a page of it, I'll probably remember what that chapter's about. Let's see. I might have to go back and reread this, honestly, but I don't know. I think people like a horse at night, or a horse on at night, or I don't know what the book is called, but it's another book by her, and I always rave about Indelicacy, so those were the two books I would suggest. I don't know. Gave it 3.75. Honestly, is leaning more towards a 3 for me. Just even for a short story, there wasn't that much substance, so yeah. Next, I read Get a Life, Chloe Brown by Talia Hibbert. This is the first book in the Brown Sisters series. This is an interracial relationship or interracial romance. There is a black woman as the main character, which I thoroughly support. However, I just really found this book to be very spicy. I just didn't think they had a lot of chemistry, and it was really frustrating to me to read that book. I was like, I don't know why I'm reading this. They have no chemistry. It's like I'm just reading fluff on a page. I don't know. I gave it 4 stars because I wanted to support, but I wrote, this book was cheesy at times. That is an understatement. I physically cringed and had to close the book on my Kindle like 8 times at least. So do with that as you wish. The book was cheesy at times, but I love their story. Okay. There's always something about reading about a POC main character that makes me feel so much more connected to them. I can't wait to finish the rest of the series. I have not picked up another book in that series, but that is true. I do feel more connected when I'm reading a character that I can personally relate to. I do think that there is a lot of good representation in that book, and I definitely support that. And I think more books need to be more diverse and more inclusive, so I definitely support that. I just don't think that their love was real. That's all I'm gonna say. I don't know what else you want me to say. The next book I have is a 4.5 star, and that is My Sister the Serial Killer by, yes, right there. Me and names. If you've watched any other video on my channel, you know I cannot pronounce people's names. I can't pronounce anything. I actually just can't pronounce anything, and I read a lot. I just can't pronounce anything. So yeah, this is about Corede and Ayola. Ayola is a serial killer. That's not a spoiler. Corede is her older sister, Ayola's older sister, and you follow Corede throughout this whole story. I really hope I'm saying that right. I'm just gonna call her Kay. You're following Kay throughout this whole story. Basically, her sister is a serial killer. She kills all her boyfriends, and she has a problem, clearly. But life is going fine. Kay slowly realizes that she's in love with this doctor that works at the hospital, and one day he asks her for her sister's number. And so it's kind of like a whole moral battle throughout this whole thing. Like, does she warn him, or does she, you know, let their relationship evolve and see if her sister ends up killing him? So I'll let you know. I gave it 4.5 stars. Actually, I think I gave it 4.75. I'm not sure why it says 4.5, but I just didn't like the ending, me personally. I'm sure other people liked it. It was really close to a 5-star for me. I really enjoyed that. Yeah, I said I'm so sad about the ending. I wish it were different, but I can understand why she did what she did. Agreed. And then the last book I read in February was Hail Mary, which was by Candy Steiner, and this is the last book in the Red Zone Rivals series, book number 4, and I gave it 3.75 stars. This followed Mary. Nope, I don't remember her name. Oh, I think maybe it did follow Mary. I don't know. Followed this football guy whose name I don't remember, and Mary, and they Basically, this whole book, the tropes are, let me just give you the tropes. I think it's like forced proximity, enemies to lovers, and something else. I don't know. They end up living in the same house. It's on Kindle Unlimited, and I pay for it, so I might as well read it. And I read the first 3 books, just kind of as like books I read in between like some of my more difficult reads. But I just didn't really enjoy this story as much. I might have to go to my Goodreads because I don't know if I wrote a review. I've gotten a lot better about writing reviews more consistently, but if I wrote something weird, not funny, haha. I said technically 3.75. Okay, yeah, 4 stars is nice. Oh, did I give it 3.7? Yeah, I did. Okay. I'm so sad that the series is complete. I'm not sure how much of that was a lie, but yeah. They're both really into video games, which I did like that. But I think what really annoyed me, now I'm remembering that 3rd act conflict. Oh my god, it was so aggravating. And I think Larry Reed's also said the same thing, and I watched her video before I read the book, and then I was like, oh my god. Like, whenever I watch a booktuber and they're like, the 3rd act conflict was unbearable, I'm like, I don't know if I should read this book. I read it and I was like, this book was like almost like, I think it would have been like a 4-star up to that point, because I really, honestly, I lied. I did like their storyline. I just didn't like the 3rd act conflict. And I didn't like the initial conflict either at the beginning of the story. I just feel like, I mean, I'm saying it's so childish, but the initial conflict, the initial conflict happened at the beginning of high school, or maybe junior year of high school, so they were children technically. So yeah, that's probably why it was childish, but it seemed even worse than that to me. I don't know, reading that was a little bit of a pain. Okay, next we're finally going into March. That was a little bit of a rant. I'm gonna try and do March pretty quickly. In March I read 8 books, which totaled up to 2,710 pages. My top 5 moods were lighthearted, funny, mysterious, emotional, and dark. I read 6 books that were considered to be medium paced, 1 book that was slow, and 1 book that was fast. I read 3 books under 300 pages, 4 books in between 300 and 499 pages, and then 1 book over 500 pages, all fiction again. My top genre for this month was actually romance, followed by contemporary, sports, literary, thriller, short stories, and mystery. Okay, for my format, it was 50-50 digital and print. And my average rating this month was 4.22 stars. My lowest rating being a 3.25, my highest being a 5-star. So I do have a 5-star read this month. And yeah, let me get into the books that I read. The first book I read was Sunny Disposition. This is a hockey romance, and I did it to myself again. I know how I feel about hockey romances. This one was really short, so I think it was supposed to be like a novella type beat. It was 272 pages, and I gave it 3.25 stars, and that was me being nice. I don't know if I like blacked out reading the first 70 pages, but I just didn't understand how they got to like be where they were when the relationship started. And I think I even reread it, but I was like, this seems like it's moving really fast. And then I realized that the book was like only 200 pages or less than 300 pages. So I was like, oh, maybe that's why. But I just said nothing special, just a quick little novella, and I think that's true. This is another forced proximity, second chance, low-key. Yeah, definitely second chance. The guy who's the hockey player is the female main character's mod in her streams, and that's how they met, and they've been friends ever since, but they've never met each other in real life. And they plan to meet up one night, but something happened and they don't meet up, and he just ignores her. Oh my god. As I'm talking about the books, I remember more and more about them. All I'm gonna say is he has amnesia. That's it. That's all I'm gonna say. Sorry, I know there's another book in it where it's a black hockey player, which I've rarely seen in my lifetime. So I might read it just out of curiosity, but I also might not. Okay, the next book I read was Mile High by Liz Tomford. Oh, that's a part of the Windy City series. I read the 2 books that are out. I gave this one 4.5 stars. I really liked it. This is another hockey romance, but the main girl character, she's black. Woo! She's biracial, but I did enjoy reading it. This book was 600 pages, which is gnarly. Let's see what I wrote. I said this book is almost a 5-star read, but it just didn't give me that 5-star feeling, so I took off half a point. Stevie and Xanders are my new favorite couple. Their personalities match so well, and I feel like there's a strong emotional connection between the two, and can't wait to finish up the rest of the series. Same season. Those were my thoughts on the book. Now, moving on. Okay. Yeah. The next book I have is The Right Move by Liz Tomford, and this is Tomford? Tomford. This is the second book in that series that I was just talking about. This one follows Stevie's older brother and Stevie's friend. They're in a relationship. This one is more like forced proximity, grumpy sunshine, which is my personal, I hate that trope like so much. It depends. It has to be done right. Oftentimes I feel like the sunshine is too sunshine and the grumpy is just grumpy for no reason, and so it just makes me angry because I'm like, nobody hates the world like that, so reading about it is kind of hard. So yeah, if he wasn't really like, he had a reason, I'll take it, I guess. But I don't know, this one just wasn't my fave. I gave it 3.75 stars. I said this book kind of felt insta-lovey to me. I wasn't a fan of that, but once I was able to look past it, the book was really good. Bro, my writing after I read a book is just gnarly. Like, I can't process it. I said I would really love for Rio to get his own book, but yeah, that's another thing. The third book is about some random character that they brought in. He's a baseball player. I get it because they're trying to hit like different sports. So Xander's was hockey, Homeboy, and this one was basketball, and the next guy's baseball. So I understand, but it's like, I feel like, you know, the person that we actually know should get another love story. Like, we're able to understand these characters and know who they are, but this next guy, like, I don't know. I'm not interested in reading about him. That's just me though. Okay, I'm gonna move on because I'm running out of time. Next I have Rock, Paper, Scissors by Alice Feeney. I gave this one 4.5 stars. I am a newfound Alice Feeney lover. I love her books now. I read one, but I love Rock, Paper, Scissors. I would say there was a good amount of plot twists in this book, and I think all of them got me except for one. Okay, one didn't get me, like I figured it out. Another one got me, but it made sense, and then the last one I was just like, oh, what? So yeah, I gave it 4.5 stars. It took me forever to read this book because I started reading it in February, but yeah, I said the first plot twist didn't get me, the second one got me, and I thought that was it, but the last one took me out. No words. The book was written so well. Yeah, obsessed. Okay, on to my physical books. I'm running out of storage. It told me I had like 42 minutes. I have Imaginary Museums by Nicolette Pollock. This is a short story book. I really enjoyed reading this. This book is about imaginary things. I love saying that, but it's like, it's about like actual imaginary things and kind of just like figments of your imagination too. Each chapter relates to an item in the museum. So the best thing was like, I would read a short chapter on the train and then like close the book and try to figure out which icon was from that chapter. I did mention in another video that my favorite chapter was the one where she goes to the air conditioner museum. That's probably my favorite, or the one where she was, what was it called actually? Oh, Sabbatical. Sabbatical was one of my favorites. I really like that one. It's about this lady who's looking to rent a place for over the summer, and I guess the person's giving her a walkthrough, and as they're going through, she just keeps adding all these stipulations. It was so funny to read. So if you're looking for a quick lighthearted book, I can't fully say lighthearted because towards the end, you know, some chapters do get a little sad, but yeah, the last section of this book is called The Library of Lost Things. It was kind of sad towards the end, but some of them were really funny and I did enjoy reading them. So yeah, it's just nice, quick, short chapters, and I gave it 4.5 stars. The next book I finished was Rogue by Elle Kennedy. This is a part of the prep novel series, the prep series. The first one was Misfit. This one follows Casey and Fen, and I really like reading this. So the first book I thought was gonna, okay, I read the first book and I did really like it, but I thought it was gonna be more like the off-campus series, which I didn't like at all. This one to me is like more of like a mystery. Like, this is more general fiction with a side plot of romance. It wasn't super romance heavy, and I think that's why I really enjoyed this book. I gave it 4.25 stars. Since reading this, I found out some things about Elle Kennedy that I don't really like, so I don't know if I'll be like supporting her launches. Maybe I'll buy these books like secondhand, so I may not read the next book like right away, which is fine, but I don't know. I did notice that she doesn't have a lot of diversity in her books, but so do a lot of authors, and it's like, what am I gonna do at this point? A book is a book, and if it's good, I'm gonna read it. But I don't support that. I think books, I feel like even if it's just another like side character, just make somebody any other race like genuinely, like anything. I think she had one person, I read a comment somewhere, and I think it was a Hispanic girl that commented. She said she had one Hispanic character, but she was just so stereotypical. And also there is an issue, you know, I think with authors being fearful of writing about other races because they don't know. But just, that's my rant of the day. Speaking of a black book that I love so much, This is Honey and Spice. This is my new fave. This is my new fave. I think I gave this one 5 stars. So I do have 2 5 stars in the month of March. Yep, 5-star read. Malachi is my man. I've been commenting that when people post about this book. I'm like, Malachi, 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 my man, my man, my man. That's all I comment. That's it. And I hope everyone understands. He's mine, fair and square. I wrote like a week, because it took a minute for me to pick up another book, because I just was so wrapped up in this world and I really wanted to be in it. So when I finished the book, I was like empty inside. And for my review, I wrote, I will genuinely miss the feeling that this book gave me. I don't think it can ever be topped. True. It actually felt like I was a part of their inner circle, and getting to watch Kiki and Malachi's relationship grow was everything to me. They're the epitome of Black/African love. Obsessed with this book. They're academic rival. They're fake dating to save their, what is the word? To save their reputations. This book was everything to me. I've already gone on rants about it, so I'm not gonna continue to do that, just for everyone's peace. Next I have LaserWriter 2. I just finished reading this book, and this is another one that I really love. If I'm somehow able to get a hold of another one of her books, I am definitely gonna read it, and if I like it, she's gonna become a new autobuy author for me, because I love this book so much. It's like a short story following a girl named Claire, and she works at this computer printer repair shop. It's told in third person, so you do mostly follow Claire's perspective, but every now and again you'll kind of break off and get some of the perspectives from the employees that work at TechServe, and you kind of get their history, their background, how they ended up at TechServe. I think it's Dick and Dave. Those are the 2 owners of TechServe, and you kind of get the background how they started TechServe. I really love this book so much. It's super fast paced to me, and the author loves graphic design, so she played around with the text and font size throughout the whole thing. It was just a really enjoyable read. The LaserWriter 2 is a printer, and that is a funny part of this book, but yeah, she works with a bunch of like nerdy geeks, and it was just a funny, lighthearted read. She's a very quiet girl, so she's mostly just very observant of other people's behaviors, and all she wants in life is to fix this LaserWriter 2. I just loved it. I had such a fun time reading this book. And you learn a lot about Apple and TechServe, and apparently at the end I found out that this might have been based off of a real story, which made it so much better to me, because I was like, there's all these characters exist. Like, some parts of it were obviously fiction, but to find out that these were real characters and that this was a real place at some point just made my life 10 times better. Also, the little bug in this, it's very interesting. Okay, so you guys are actually balancing on the 2 books that I'm reading right now, so I can't pull them out and show you, but I'm reading A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas and Addicted to You by Krista and Becca Richie, because I want to start a new series. I know that the Addicted Calloway series is complete, so that's why I started it. I thought A Court of Thorns and Roses was complete, but it's not, so I guess, I don't know. But I did want to start a complete series, that way I can just, you know, finish it and not have to wait for new books to come out. And also, if something happens with the author that you're reading, you find out that they're problematic, I don't have to buy from them directly. Like, I can just buy it secondhand and the series is complete, and I don't have to wait for a new release and wait for people to resell the new release. Whatever the point is. I think Krista and Becca Richie are fine. I have no idea, but whatever. I'm gonna be more careful about who I support. But yeah, I'm reading A Court of Thorns and Roses, and I'm obsessed with it right now. Like, I'm almost 200 pages in. I'm on chapter like 20, and I think I'm gonna really like the series a lot. I ordered the 2nd book, and I'll get more into that in my April TBR, which will be the next video. It should be posted tomorrow, actually. So when you guys are seeing this, just come back tomorrow. I'll be wearing the same hoodie. I'll be in the same spot filming basically the exact same video, just my April TBR. Okay, that is it for today's video. Come back tomorrow for my April TBR, because I have a lot of good books. I'm gonna be traveling at the very beginning of April, so I wanted to pick out books that I think will be fun to read while I'm on vacation. And yeah, I will see you next time. Like and subscribe if you want. I'm gonna try and post more consistently. I'm doing a pretty good job sticking to my schedule, so I have a lot of new videos coming out soon, and I'm gonna be vlogging while I'm in Barcelona, so I hope you guys enjoy that when that video comes out. And yeah, I will see you tomorrow. Bye.